In a segment once written off as gas-sucking dinosaurs, there's been a bit of a rebirth happening lately. The continuous success of the Escalade has shown vehicles like the Lincoln Navigator and this Infiniti QX80 that it's time to step up their game and really compete for a piece of the pie. Now for 2018, Infiniti has given the QX80 its most substantial update yet, bringing in top to bottom updates all around the vehicle. So with renewed focus, let's see if the QX80 can now truly take on the best this segment has to offer. We would like to specially thank Infiniti of Lexington for allowing us to come out and film this review. If you would like to check out their all-new dealership and extensive inventory of all the Infiniti models, their physical address and web address has been provided in the video description. Every QX80 comes with Nissan's corporate key fob, which is small and lightweight. Remote start is also included. Before we get to the changes on the inside, we'll start off by checking under the hood. Refreshes often involve limited resources, so Infiniti wisely directed them to other areas besides the powertrain. That means we continue to find a large 5.6-liter V8 engine, producing 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a 7-speed automatic transmission, and power is put to the ground via the rear or all four wheels. Of course, leaving things the same means you can't expect fuel economy to improve, and it doesn't. The rating continues to be at the lower end of the segment, at 14 city, 20 highway, 16 combined with two-wheel drive, and 13 city, 19 highway, 15 combined with four-wheel drive. Well, that's a really quick rundown of the powertrain. So now let's get to the actual updates on the outside. Infiniti rightfully focused most of their attention on the front end, and the results show. What used to look rather bloated and bubbly has been pulled back for a tighter, more athletic look. The grille itself gets a new shape and interior texture this year, which brings it in line with all the other Infiniti SUVs. The headlights too have undergone big changes, namely being raised higher on the body and brand new sleek LEDs inspired by the Q60. There are also new LED fog lamps and a chrome accent across the bottom. Ground clearance is pretty good at 9.2 inches, as you would expect for something based on the Nissan Patrol. Overall, I think the front is a dramatic improvement. The The wheels have also seen some upgrades this year. These are the optional 22-inch 14-spoke alloy wheels that cost $2,800. The base 20-inch wheels look fairly similar, but really, anything less than 22s looks small on something this big. The brakes are 13.8-inch ventilated disc in both the front and rear. And the tires are all seasons. The side vent has also been redesigned. Moving up to the mirrors, they come fully loaded with heating, power folding, and auto dimming on every QX80. The only thing that changes is a chrome cap on Deluxe Tech models. The side of the QX80 was basically left unaltered, but it already looked pretty sleek compared to most of its boxy competitors. As far as the actual length compared to those competitors, it's several inches longer at 209 inches. However, the Escalade and Navigator do offer long wheelbase versions, which this does not. As far as safety is concerned, the QX80 has not been tested by any agency, since they don't test vehicles this big. However, there still is a lot of active safety equipment that you can add through the driver's assistance package. They include forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot intervention, intelligent cruise control, and lane departure prevention. Moving around to the rear design, the changes are pretty minor, but make a really big difference. One more tasteful piece of chrome replaces two previous ones, and it now connects in with the LED taillights. They now have the newest paintbrush effect like the Q50 and Q60. The turn signal is separated down here, and you have a hidden exhaust and full-size spare tire. As far as towing is concerned, it can handle up to 8,500 pounds, which is a little bit more than the equivalent Escalade, but less than the equivalent Navigator. You have a rear wiper and standard rear spoiler. These roof rails are standard equipment. Crossbars are optional. The QX80 comes with a sizable 26-gallon fuel tank, good for 416 or 390 miles of range. Interestingly, premium fuel is only recommended. Well, that wraps up all the new exterior stuff, so now let's see what's new on the inside. Looking inside the cabin, the first thing that strikes me is the richness of how everything looks. And this is the base setup, if you can call it that, with perforated leather in either wheat or graphite, and Stratford burl wood trim. If you choose the top-of-the-line Deluxe Tech model, it steps up the leather to quilted semi-aniline, in either wheat, graphite, or an exclusive saddle brown, and a different burl wood trim. The door trim carries forward that same richness, with plush leather all the way from the top to the armrest. Even these lowest areas are soft touch, which is uncommon at any price point. All four of the windows are one-touch automatic up and down. We also have two-person memory functions for the seat, steering wheel, and mirrors. And by the way, that's your blind spot indicator. The seats continue to be 10-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar on every QX80. Unfortunately, there's no massaging. The leather itself feels exceptionally supple, and like I said, this is not even the semi-aniline option. Running boards are standard. First looking around, there's not a ton of really obvious changes, but there's definitely been small refinements, particularly to the materials. The entire upper dash is made of soft-touch plastic, with a new stitching detail across it. And the middle is also padded. Of course, you have tons of glossy wood trim everywhere, and there's really soft leather trim that goes all the way down to the floor. Fit and finish is well executed. Just press the standard button to start. When you do, this 8-inch display with updated InTouch software will fire up. More on this later. While I actually like the gauges themselves, it's unfortunate that they didn't upgrade the multifunction display. This button cycles through the basic information, but it looks closer to a calculator than the digital setups that many rivals have. The QX80 has old school hydraulic rack and pinion power steering, and all models get this upgraded steering wheel with wood around the outside. This side is for audio, phone, and voice controls. And the other side is dedicated to adaptive cruise and safety systems. The wipers are rain sensing. Finally, the wheel itself is power adjusting. And you have standard heating located over here. Moving on to storage, the QX80 has plenty, as you would expect. The center console is really deep, with a luxurious felt lining. They also got rid of the old-fashioned AV inputs. There are a couple more areas under the wood trim, but there's no big compartment up in the front. However, the front does have a 12-volt outlet and 2 USB ports. This year, the shifter has been upgraded. Like always, you can shift manually by pressing to the left, but there are no paddles. When you shift into reverse, Infiniti's pioneering around view monitor pops up, complete with moving object detection. In addition to giving you a back and bird's eye view, there are several others to cycle through. Like the Escalade though, the resolution could use a bump up. The mirrors do tilt down to help you see the parking lines better. Below the shifter, you have a dial that controls the 4-wheel drive modes. There is also a special snow mode and towing mode. Moving on up to the first row of buttons, you have 2-stage heated seats, which are standard on all models. Ventilation is also available, but you have to go for the loaded Deluxe Tech model. Heading up to the next cluster of buttons, you have the standard tri-zone automatic climate controls. This is a very simple system to understand since all the buttons are physical and well labeled. You can also make adjustments up here on the screen if you prefer, and any changes will always appear up here. Now let's go ahead and sample the standard Bose premium audio system. Sound quality is very impressive. Infiniti does include physical controls for all the audio functions, and above it you have controls for the InTouch display. Let's take a quick look. For 2018, we now have the new InTouch software instead of the old HDD navigation. There is no home screen, so you have to use these buttons to go to the different sections. This is Bluetooth audio, where you can play and pause songs through the screen. The other audio sources line across the top. Next we have navigation, which is standard. The screen is nice and responsive, and it supports 3D buildings. It's fairly easy to understand, good since you do not have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay to use instead. Kind of in the place of that, you do have an app suite. Hilariously, one of the apps included is a driving performance one, which includes things like your G-forces and fuel flow. XM Travel Link apps are also included in the info section. Finishing things off, you have Phone, which you access by pressing the steering wheel button. In here you can see all of your contacts that have synced over from your phone. That's all I will cover in this video, but we have a really detailed tutorial of the entire InTouch system in a separate tech help video. A link to that is in the description. Up top, we have the standard auto-dimming rearview mirror, but new for 2018 is a smart mirror on Deluxe Tech models. It basically shows a live camera feed of what's behind you unobscured. Regardless, you have 3 universal remotes. Infiniti also includes a power moonroof standard. There is no pano option, but most in the class don't offer one either. So overall, the cabin of the QX80 is a superbly comfortable place to spend time. While some parts of the design and tech are on the dated side of things, it's undeniably luxurious, and it still undercuts the competition by upwards of 10 grand. Now I'll hand it off to my brother to finish out the video.
As you would expect from a luxury SUV, materials are top-notch even here in the back. You've got tons of soft leather covering most of the door, and even the door grab. Your window is also automatic up and down. Space shouldn't be an issue, since it has 41 inches of legroom and 40 inches of headroom, one of the top offerings in the class. They all get this really nice captain's chair setup, with a nice armrest and storage area in the middle. If for some reason you need 8-person seating, that is also a possibility. The seats themselves are also some of the softest I've ever sat in. In the center, controls are abundant. All QX80s get tri-zone climate, which means you have the ability to adjust the temperature independent from the front through these buttons. We also opted for the 2-stage heated rear seats. Down below that, Infiniti added 2 smart charging USBs this year. And finally, on the ground there are a few more useful outlets. The armrest does have plenty of wood to cover the cup holders. Behind that is a felt-lined storage area, almost as big as the one in the front. Your vents are located up on the ceiling, and you have a light and an assist grip. We also opted to get the theater package, which does include these dual 8-inch high-resolution monitors on the back of each headrest. It also includes 2 sets of wireless headphones and a remote control. And as far as space goes, you'll have plenty. This is with the seat scooted all the way back, and I still have tons of space to move around. So overall, the QX80's rear seat is an amazing place to spend time. It's extremely comfortable, spacious, and it has amenities galore. Despite having high expectations, I still find it impressive. To get into the third row, just locate the handle on the side of the seat. That will flip the seat up and out of the way, making entry pretty easy. Space in the third row is rated at 28.8 inches of legroom and 36.8 inches of headroom, pretty standard for the class. Once you get situated, you'll find it pretty uncomfortable back here. That said, it's really just average for the class. Infiniti does give you a couple cup holders and some vents up top. So really, this third row is acceptable for short distances and smaller people. Obviously, the QX80 does come standard with a power tailgate, but it's not foot activated or anything. Once it slowly opens, you'll be greeted by a spacious 16.6 cubic feet behind the third row, 49.6 cubic feet behind the second row, and a maximum of 95.1 cubic feet. That puts it right on par with most, but the long wheelbase versions of the Escalade and Navigator will definitely have more space. This power folding third row is standard across the board. It's just about as slow as the tailgate, so you have to have some patience. Once it folds, you'll have a flat loading floor. The passenger seat is 8-way power adjusting with power lumbar support, also standard on all models. Materials in front of the passenger are nice, but it won't blow your socks off. The glove box is dampened and big, but surprisingly it doesn't have felt lining. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching the first in-depth review on the 2018 Infiniti QX80. Stay watching for a short look at the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like, subscribe, and comment buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.